Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Ringru. Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, division play happening today. Well, it's a multi-tournament, but that's besides the point. Right here, we are on Slutsk, so we know this map well, but who we don't know are these players. Right, who do we have? What are they bringing?
On left-hand side in the blue, we have Luna playing 20th Panzer Maverick income. Right-hand side in the red, we don't have a Bridge of Lotus, otherwise known as MrGhost, playing 26th Guards Infantry, with, you might not be too surprised, Maverick income.
Well, you might be a little bit surprised with the fact that the Flak Panzer Panther already out here in A, but you might equally be surprised, actually, as the composition, I would say, of BOTL, or, like you said, MrGhost, he's only bringing 44 squads of infantry.
Yeah.
Which is absurd.
That's going to be tough, especially against Luna. Double the infantry and good infantry. Yeah, Panzer Grenadiers, especially on a map like Slutsk. Long-range machine guns go far, so it's going to really come down to Ghosty to try to get an early victory. Otherwise, he's going to die due to a war of attrition.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm really stunned. Not quite as stunned as that M45 mil is going to be, but I'm stunned by just the amount of, I don't want to say hubris, but just guts that this takes. That's the play way of putting it. It's not hubris, it's guts. So
it's a lot of A phase.
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely is. But and it's A phase versus the Circus, as you so delicately pointed out before this went live. It's absolutely true. 20th Panzer, tons of just like crazy stuff. Super early Yak 9 going after the Flak, and that's exactly why you bring out that early Flak Panzer. So I love that call.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong with it. And it's also pretty good at killing light vehicles if they are stupid enough to get close. We do see the off-map artillery drop down, getting some pretty good stun and hits on Ghosty's units. He does have the ASU and the IS-1 as well, covering the point. So, yeah, it seems to be really just a focus on the Northern Hill, which isn't too surprising for Slutsk.
No, certainly not for the early game anyway. I feel like as the match draws on, you usually see a development as it goes. The battlefield rotates south a lot further. But for right now, there's no point to it. I mean, if you look to the south, ostensibly it's important, but great. You drop one flag for absolutely really no reason, and other than that, good luck getting to the other flags. So,
yeah, sometimes you can make a southern push work early on because people just don't expect it. It can be hard to maintain because you're in the middle of an open bloody field. But sometimes the surprise can be surprising, so to speak.
Oh, exactly. Just like the Spanish Inquisition, fear, surprise, and a dashing sense of fashion are all hallmarks of the 20th Panzer as they push forward. Unfortunately for them, the artillery observer over here, not getting a whole lot of observing done. The ZSU forcing him back with rather relative ease.
Yeah, both sides bringing in that early anti-air has definitely paid off, as it's keeping their ground units quite alive and all their inside the tank, which I think is what you want with a tank.
You know, you would think so, but I think every now and again, I think you just need to open up and show that, the real you, the inside. Unfortunately, if that's the case, yeah, you don't want to be in the army.
Yep. Oh, God. Oh, the Panzer 5-4, which is probably one of my favorite tanks. Pushing out and then getting pushed back due to that 45 mil. Oh, he can just shoot it. He can't penetrate. Just one dude left alive.
Out of curiosity, why is that one of your favorite tanks? I mean, historically or in games? Out of curiosity, I'm gonna push on that.
Because it's like if you zoom in on it, Khan.
Yeah.
It's like this really big tank, but with a tiny turret. It looks out of proportion.
I think the term you're looking for is big chassied. I think that's the way they were saying this now in the 21st century, but you're right. Yeah, it looks very much like it's like a later like APC type deal, like an early Bradley, as opposed to an MBT.
It actually reminds me a lot of, this is a bit off topic, but like South American tanks, like modern day ones, where they basically just get modern day IFEs and just put like a tank turret on top.
You know,
I think Argentinians do that a lot.
That's fair. And I think that's one of the reasons that we're not likely to see something like that come up in Warno anytime soon. Is that the Argentinian divisions are like, oh yes, we have a tank, and then you find out, no, it's somebody basically took the early version of a Striker 30 years ago and decided to put something crazy on it. So yeah, I agree with you 100%. Strafniki, in the meantime, these guys trying to move forward a little bit from east to west. Not a whole lot of action going to be happening here for right now.
No, yeah, that Panzer 5-4 is actually doing a decent job holding the line. Really have a battle of, like, unicorn tanks, yeah, against the IS-1.
Mm.
And neither side is wanting to commit their tank forces, so we're just getting a stalemate. But honestly, stalemate, in terms of decks, it's going to be in Luna's favor. To be fair, Luna probably doesn't know about Mr. Ghosty's lack of infantry. So hopefully for him, that'll be a pleasant surprise if this does make it to sea phase.
That's true. At that point, if it goes that far, we certainly will be in the harvest phase of Luna's deck. I should be ashamed of that one, but I'm not. No. Guard squads are going to be a little more aggressive, and the IS-1 is with some line of sight onto some material. Is to start to put some DT fire over into those kind of advanced P-grind positions. He's got to be careful, though, because there's still a Hetzer slowly kind of creeping on forward. And while he's not going to get a whole lot of immediate penetration, between the 5-4 and the Jagd Panzer, you could really see a little bit of one of those tank and spanks that we're used to kind of seeing from, well, other times.
Yeah, and it does seem Ghosty is bringing out a hefty amount of units to try and conquer his northern hill. He's got 2 KV-1s, which are great tanks for this sort of close-range engagement. He has a whole heap of infantry here. It's just the geography is really not benefiting him. Because if he tries to push through the forest, he just gets a blast from machine guns. You've got the IG-18 putting fire down the flank. And honestly, the Panzer Grenadiers are just in a good defensive position in the forest, which is just shutting down any infantry trying to push up. So Ghosties is having a very hard time, unless he uses smoke or, get an off-map artillery. It's going to be a bloody push.
It certainly will be. Equally bloody over here is, unfortunately, the spotter aircraft does go down. He does get an artillery strike off, so he's got to know. And yeah, I think this is actually the case. He's prepping himself to get a nice little light push in there once the artillery goes down and out. BF-109, in the meantime, didn't really get a whole lot of firepower. I think that's like the T-34 Flak Panzer that was getting the kill. But we'll have to take a look at that, because I think we're going to see a push pretty darn quickly when that happens.
Yeah, I honestly quite like it. I mean, he has the Kubel MG for recon, 2 Panzer Grenadiers still loaded up. It's nothing crazy in his push. Of course, it's a risk, really, because what's worse that can happen. But fortunately for him, there's only 1 machine gun in the entire area. So he's in a very easily take-out position, and that is such a good position to take. Mm-hmm. Especially of how, first off, Ghosty's going very heavy up north, so it's going to put a lot of pressure off down there. And secondly, if you capture his forest, you can just put fire all the way down and very easily shut it down, especially considering your 20th Panzer Grenadier. You have so many good long-range anti-tank weaponry.
IS-1 is creeping on forwards. I'm not sure he's going to hit the first strike here, though. Between the Hetzer, between the 5-4 and the Jagd Panzer, this is going to be pretty bloody, I imagine. Bouncing on one side, Flak Panzer coming on forward just to kind of get some stress. Here it comes. Any second? Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the KV-1's coming around.
Oh,
yikes.
I really like that KV-1 flank here. He's not just...
Yeah, Panzer's dead.
Because what usually happens is a player... Yeah, sad. What usually happens is a player would just push the tank where the IS-1 is and just full barrel around, but getting them around the flank to get some slide shots and better angles on the Panzer Grenadiers is helping out. Now, IS-1, I'm going to say he's going to be fine, but we'll see. He's tanky enough.
He certainly is. He certainly is. But while that's been happening up north, down south it is now 14-10. As an easy flag is picked up, and I think we might even see a development. Yeah, Pioneer's being brought over here to kind of start to control the south. And the Guard squads are going to take one flag back, but I wouldn't be too comfortable just yet.
Yeah, we're seeing the Yak-9B bring an emergency bombing run. Flak Panzer's gonna have to say something about it. And misses, thankfully, for the Panzer Grenadiers it is.
Oof.
We've got the beat. Oh! Damn.
That T-34 is deadly, man. It's like, I know all your weaknesses. I was once one of you.
No, I was designed to kill you. But to be fair for Ghosty, even though he's not putting a whole lot of pressure to regain down south, he's almost captured the northern hill. Lost the KV-1 there, but if he can capture this hill, this is another one of those positions that once you capture it, it's very easy just to put pressure all the way down.
It is. But you know what? Fine. Take that hill. You pick up what? couple flags. You can take it the other direction yet, too.
Mm-hmm.
All you do is just make sure you control the bridge on the outside. And that's why he's bringing that Pack 40 in. Pack 40 just to kind of sit there. He'll shift it forward to start getting some eyes on the bridge or the approach to it. And that'll be fine.
No, that's a very good point, because it's kind of the trap of this map a bit, is that, especially from Ghost's side, once you capture the hill, it can be hard to really exploit from here, because the flag bridge and then the other flag in the town, you're just not going to get yet. It's a river too far.
Oh, absolutely.
It's really his only best bet from this point to exploit is to try to push down south into the town, but that can be a bloody affair and doesn't really gain you that much clay, so to speak.
Of course, I did say that the Pack 40 does go down at the concentrated firepower, the Su-85, the KV-1, the IS-1, and really all that's left is a Jagdpanzer sitting south of that river.
Mm-hmm.
And he's engaging, don't get me wrong, he's game. Unfortunately, he also might be a game bird for too much longer. IG-33 being brought up, a couple of the Jagdpanzers being brought up to the northern side, I like this very much. Another observer being brought on in here too, I think he's going to drop, in the south, excuse me. Going to drop some artillery on the SU-43 or the 45 mil that's right there. Potentially even going after that moderate push.
Oh, that's a good... Okay, loses the IS run, but I think that's a good trade.
I was looking down to the south. IS-1 trade out with the Jagdpanzer?
Yeah.
Yep.
Which, the reason I'm saying it, even though you really don't lose the IS run, it's your really big, super heavy tank, quote-unquote, 426. Right now is in a very good position to just completely dominate this northern, downhill town from the northern hill. It's really only a couple infantry dudes in here. He has a huge concentration of firepower still of all the tanks. And of course, B phase income. Both sides have good income, but especially for Ghosty, said before, lack of infantry later on, he needs to be getting massive territorial gains, get that +2 point advantage so it doesn't grind down. And yeah, he's committing. He's even going across the river.
So I'm watching out at the south real quick because there was an artillery strike brought in by the surviving recon plane. And it's not to say that things are spectacular just yet, because there's still a KV-1 and an OT-34, but there's still a Pack 40 in there as well. So the Pack 40, he's actually getting an attack move, which I like very much.
Yeah, it's his... he just caught him, out in the open, rip his pants down. The tanks, of course, are scary, but once they get in, the tanks go into the forest, they get panzerfausted.
True. Very, very true. And the OT-34, he must be thinking to himself, yeah, I'm fine. This is no big deal. If I am that Pack 40, that could be very, very delicious. But you're right, northern side, this is where the rubber meets the road. The tracks meet the mud, and one of those KV-1s goes down into the mud. Not to be outdone, Su-35 is engaging the Zis-3, kind of working over that Jagdpanzer as well.
Yeah, and I think of the Jagdpanzers, I mean, they are better than the Su-85s, as we clearly see here. They're more expensive, but by God, I mean, the Jagdpanzers are one of the best tanks used in a 1v1. It's just so price efficient. Yes. And with this effective trade, it is going to allow Luna not so much to get a foothold back into a hill. I think for him that would be the river too far, but at least stabilize this northern area so he can put more time and energy down south.
And he desperately needs to do that too, because there's another artillery strike coming over here in that northern town, and right now he's bringing an elephant in, so the circus is coming to town.
Whoa, that's a heavy investment.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like it that much. I love seeing the elephant, but I don't think this is the right time for it.
Same. He honestly can really just get away using Jagdpanzers, because you can basically get 2 Jagdpanzers. Yeah, 2 Jagdpanzers for every 1 elephant. I forgot 245 points. I mean, to be fair, it's B phase. This is the time you want to buy it. But he needs infantry in that town more than anything.
Yes, he does. Though I do say, down south, things are far better. But of course, like we said before, that part of the map just doesn't matter as much.
Yeah, really for Luna, if he can capture the run flag in the town, that's probably his best bet. You can kind of contest the flag by the crossroad, but that's not something they're going to permanently hold.
Well, the Russian position to the northern side of the hill, in terms of on the German side of things, Between the ZSUs and... Oh, no, both ZSUs that are right there. There's also an IG-33, which I feel like I just want to attack ground right where I know those guys are, and that's just going to be an ugly, ugly time for them.
Yeah. And the IG-33 is in a bit of a weird... I'm going to sneeze. Never mind, I didn't sneeze. Very good. Anyway, the IG-33, because he can't really do too much. You need to move up a bit so he can start lobbing shells onto the hill.
Sure.
Well, actually... Oh, no, he can, actually. Yeah, the elevation does work. He just needs to see stuff on the hill to start lobbing shells on the hill.
But he's apparently not concerned about that. He's looking for the Strafniki down here to the south, and almost, I think, Merc's come and hit some of his own dudes. Now, we are having a 30-column, or 30-core push happening in the south. Pack 40 turning these guards out in the open into meat bouillabaisse. And it is almost, like, I almost need to slap out, like a a PG-13 thing on this. This is brutal.
Yeah, Pack 40's in such a Gucci spot. Honestly, the elephant down south probably would have done a better bet, as it just completely zones out the southern area, unless you bomb it to death. But even then, this Pack 40 in cover, no recon here from Ghosty, doing God's work. Well, yeah, I guess God's work for the Germans, as they're killing the godless communists.
Well, there's two Su-85s that are there. So the Flak Panzer, wow. Well, he goes down to the ISU-152. So I was wondering when that was actually going to happen. A little confused why the Jagdpanzers... Oh, no, I guess he doesn't see no, he doesn't see the ISU. Interesting.
Oh, Yak 9B cluster.
Yeah.
That's actually quite good killing the Flak Panzer, because Yak 9 now has a clear shot.
Yes, he does. Between the Yak 9B and the Jagdpanzer, taking out both the anti-tank threats down south, things are looking not so bueno.
No, yeah, Ghosty will be able to stabilize this. He just needs some more infantry rushing into that position, because there's only one Panzer Grenadier left, which is the downside for Luna holding this position. It is pretty deep in down enemy territory, so your supply line is a bit longer.
True. Now, there's one thing that can turn this around, and he's out in the field right now. It's the Befehle Panzer. Excuse me, the Befehle Tiger Panzer. So that could be brutal.
I'd love 20th Panzer Grenadier just for the weird
elephant's
tanks.
dead! The elephant has been poached! I went up just to see the Yak 9 came on in. Sorry. I apologize for cutting you off there, sir. But yes,
that's fine.
That I'm telling whoever it is that actually cares about animals these days, but I'm telling them because that was brutal.
Yeah, cluster bombs don't really care about your frontal armor. They kill you regardless.
Yeah. Now the P runs down south, being engaged by the Su-85 up to the north. That is gonna be pretty much a death knell, I feel like, to this push for right now. And that's really the question, isn't it? Because we're going to do C phase pretty soon. So the question is, can that one card of C phase P-Grens be worth it? And I don't know, honestly.
It does seem, as we're getting to the twilight of B phase here, the front lines are starting to solidify a bit. I think once we see the southern side get captured from this Russian force, I mean, it's going to come back to, okay, a 14-10. So Ghosty is going to be in a good position to just sort of hold, especially now up north and down south being secured. It's just about, well, he kind of needs a +2 at this point, because 25 minutes is going to be a bit long for him.
True. And the Befehle Panzer, I'm going to say that constantly. The Befehle Tiger is...
Call it the Porsche.
Sure, yeah, you're right. It's the high-end car that's way too expensive to repair. The Tiger over here, he's starting to lob shells at this guard squad, and it's great that they're just kind of wasting his ammunition. But what's less perfect is that if you look to the northern side of that, in that central position, 3 squads of P-Grens are doing this quiet little push. And oh my gosh, the entire Luftwaffe on the eastern front's making huge attack runs.
BF-109's coming in, only one ZSU.
Sturmoviki surrenders, and that's actually a very important
Wow. Andreyusha being brought in, so...
I like that, though. I think that's a great call at this point. At this point, you don't really care about really holding the front lines. All you want to do is just suppress the living dog poo out of the Wehrmacht here.
I bet you what he's gonna try and do with it is counter battery the Flak 41, because by God, he needs that thing to be dead, so then he can bring in the Act-9 B to blow up the Tiger P. Because it's coming down to
There's a second Flak 41 though. Forgive me, but there's a second Flak 41.
Oh yeah, that's. To be fair, if I was Luna, I'd be getting loads of him, considering the absolute threat of those clusters.
Mm-hmm. But he's only got 4, so not a lot of options here.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the question now, too. The guard squad pinned down. One of the attacking DP Pgrens slain. The other ones are forced into a retreat. So now there's 4 squads of guards that are desperately trying to get to the front lines. And right now, I don't know who's in a better position. Yak-9's making a run. Okay, never mind.
Now really get the kill.
Nah, he's already forced back. And the Ju-87 is threatening the Andreyusha by just angrily throwing bombs at the ground and saying, I'm here. Of course, worrying the Andreyusha could see a ridiculous spread, which ironically could probably kill the Tiger if he's unlucky.
Yeah. The Tiger is moving out of the Oh no, he's re-aiming it now. So it's going to give the Tiger a little bit of leeway before it gets barraged from it. Heavy artillery.
Perversely, the Andreyusha over here just getting a chance to just reset and reset and reset is actually even better for him because it gives him lower and lower spread because less and less panic.
Yeah.
So the irony might be that the Tiger might have been safest if he had just stayed put.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll find out in a second.
Yeah,
please.
I don't like the strike on the Tiger P. Now I think about it, I think it really should be just going for those Flak 41s.
Oh, no, absolutely. The Tiger P, first of all, is way too mobile. Second of all, you're looking for a very, very lucky shot. Third of all, and here's the gun run. There we go.
Wow.
And fourth of all...
Crick.
And fourth of all, you don't even get that much firepower out of it. Congratulations, you've now killed a single heavy tank. Your air power is still completely ineffective.
Yeah. Yeah, just long-term unwinding the German anti-aircraft net pays off much better long-term. But it's still a 13-11 here for Ghosty. You know, it feels like the trades aren't really benefiting him, and especially if his central push. You never really see people push the center, but from Luna's position, it can be a very Gucci area to push, because you just secure the hill, you get the 2 flags in the town, and then from the hill, you just set up anti-tank guns, and they just blast away at long range.
They absolutely do. Now, the one thing I'm actually kind of surprised by is we didn't really see a whole lot of on-map artillery fire. I would have liked to have seen even a single FH-18. I'd love to see one of those field howitzers being able to deliver kind of more targeted issues here. Oof. Now it's going to be the Luftwaffe's turn, I think, to probably pay the iron price, because there's still a couple of ZSUs. Yak-9's making another run, but he's not going to get anywhere close to that.
Yep. Yeah, really both sides bringing some sort of heavy artillery pieces definitely would have helped out, just for dealing with the opposing side anti-aircraft net, more so for Ghosty and Luna's anti-air is self-propelled.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the BF-109 over here die, but the ground attack variant did just take out one of the ISUs.
Ooh.
Another ISU goes down south, so...
Tiger P.
Yeah, this down south, I think this is going to be a big, big issue over here for our little spirit today.
Yeah, Luna's been able to get these long-range engagements, which benefits his division. And as you can see, just looking down south, the guards are guarding the line. And that's it.
Well, and then here are the 2 ZSUs that are like, guys, I guess it's time to go to the front line. Das Vidanya. So,
why did no one give us AP show?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, wait, there's another elephant. That's right, he does get 2.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure I would have brought that in up there, but,
like,
you know.
Noah's Ark.
Yeah, that's actually rather sobering to think now there's only 1 elephant left in the world, but... No, but you're right. I look into the northern side. If you see this here, there's still ISUs, there's still a 76. Heck, there's still even, I think, a couple of the 122s coming in here as well. So he's trying to get one final shove, I think, to this northern side. I think that's his best hope might be.
Yeah. Oh, if he can for Luna just trade efficiently in the northern side. There's really not a whole lot of anti-tank left, and probably not a whole lot of anti-tank Ghosty can afford to bring anymore, just because C-Phase are bloody expensive to get out more. Well, we can't even get any more ISUs. I think they're all dead at this point, apart from the one still on the field.
I think you're right. Oh man, it is so sad to see a JU-87 begin to flip over into its dive and then get panicked. Like, that is... I don't know why that just feels so sad to me. It's like the once great athlete realizing they can't run their race anymore. Ugh. No, I haven't been watching any sports movies recently. You have. 122 is going to slide south. And actually, the 122, I think, might be out of charges at this point. No, this might be the second one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you've seen we've got more of a desperate line here from Ghosty holding the downward town position, but Luna can bring in some fire support, the Jagd Panzer IV, and just pick these guys off run by run, because the guards can only do so much guarding unsupported.
True. That's why the biggest thing that can still survive over here is the Tiger and the Su-85 that's right there. And I guess we do actually, this is the new 122, because we're seeing artillery support being thrown onto the field. Tiger and Su-85, both are going to see each other very, very quickly. And the Su-85 is shooting at the ground pounders first. Yikes.
It's going to bugger them up a bit. They had to aim, and yeah.
Yep. ZSU desperate to kind of get away. The Tiger, I think, is just going to aggress up to that crosshairs, and that's just going to be a brutal opportunity.
Yeah, Tiger P is pretty much immune at this point. I mean, the KV-85s and all of that don't have a great chance in long range, and with the decent amount of anti-air on the field, yeah, we are seeing some artillery being dropped down on the Flak 41s. Oh, it's the Su-76 all array from the north, so very important hits, yeah, probably a little bit too late.
It's potential, but there's still 3 more on the field, and we kept seeing this Yak-9B being brought on in, and every single time the Yak-9B being sent away just from the flat ground fire. Transmission damage, by the way, on the Tiger, so that's good, right? But another KV-85 goes down. So I don't think we're going to see any Opal Blitzes to see, brought back to fighting trim. But I do think that there's potential to see the Russians kind of start to collapse here. There's nothing left to throw.
Yeah, we're coming down to what we said at the start, with just lack of him. Well, he still has infantry on the field, but he probably doesn't have many more left in the rear. But also it's the tank.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have really any C-Phase cards of tanks, so you don't get too many options for 26 to be fair. Really anti-tank. And with the Ak-9Bs now getting shot out of the air power space, he's kind of buggered against the German super armor.
Well, the funny thing now is BF-109 is making runs over here in the center, and the ZSUs are pressured away. So now, at long last, the JU-87s can make their runs pretty much not unmolested, but near as unmolested as you're going to get under the circumstances. And suppression that's good as kills here, too, so it doesn't matter.
And there we go. The college pros getting hit.
Yeah.
Showing that they still have the skill from the 1940 Britain season.
It's true. The JU-87 are those guys who played softball in college who are like, bro, I got this. And then they get that one hit and they have to relive their glory days. So, yeah.
They're like 40 years old and they're still remembering it and telling all their buddies.
Yeah.
Still got the jersey, the ring.
Exactly. It's like bronzed in their apartment.
If it wasn't for the leg injury, man, I could have gone pro.
Exactly. I used to be a pro player like you, and I took an arrow to the knee.
Yeah. And there we go. Tap out.
Yeah. But Slutsk over here, bloodbath. I would say 1,000 feels like it should have been even more devastating than that. But BOTL over here, well, I think he probably achieved some more parity here because he didn't really have that much in the way to lose.
Very good job early on with that northern, but that south and kind of like once it just came to stalemate.
True, very, very true. Kills, nothing really to speak home about too much. Losses, Flak Panzer picking up 2. Jagd Panzer by himself. Geez, what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Another Jagd Panzer picking up a couple kills. Pack 40 over here doing very well for himself. They got the Befehl Tiger. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 strong kills and a couple ground pounder squads. Like, again, 3 or 4 really, really viable, strong team players, and everything else rallied around them. So
yeah, it's 20th Panzer Grenadier is such a good division because you have a lot of infantry, which is very important in current ST2 1v1 meta. You got good fire support, just in terms of infantry support guns, artillery, aircraft. But more importantly, you got the perfect tanks, which I'm going to call not super heavy tanks, but like the midline heavy to medium tanks, like the Panzer IV, the Tiger P, where they have enough armor to slash it out with other tanks at long range. And then if you really need the super heavy tank, you got elephants.
Exactly. But any final thoughts there, sir?
No.
Well, folks, in that case then, until next time, I'm Con Overk.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.